Have you ever felt that it didn't matter what the consequences were for a student's behaviour because that student's behaviour never changed? When a behaviour management plan isn't working, it may be time to change your strategy, and perhaps that means taking a completely different approach. Despite all your best efforts at prevention, there will always be times when students do not follow directions or comply with your expectations. So how can you respond in a way that will help your students learn appropriate behaviour and maintain your positive relationships with your students? It's essential to have calm, considered responses to inappropriate behaviour if you want consequences to work. And by work, I mean student behaviour changes. And we know that harsh, punitive consequences are not effective. Jails are full of people who do not respond to the threat of incarceration. So why do we think that loss of recess or suspension from school will work for students with behaviour issues? Threats work for 75 to 85% of the population. The other 25% need a different approach. They need to be taught explicitly how to behave appropriately. They need to be positively reinforced for appropriate behaviour. They need support to behave appropriately. And they also need considered responses when they behave inappropriately. My name is Mari Amaro, and I'm the Principal Presenter at The Highly Effective Teacher. I'm a teacher, and I've been working with students and supporting teachers for over 30 years. I'm passionate about teacher wellbeing and about positive behaviour management strategies, and I combine research and experience to provide strategies that improve teacher wellbeing and improve use of positive behaviour management strategies, especially practices that take no more extra time, that can actually give you back time because you're working more effectively. I love coaching teachers so that they learn to thrive in the teaching profession, not just survive. Improved teacher wellbeing means improved student wellbeing, and that contributes to better academic and social outcomes for all our students. If you'd like to learn more about teacher wellbeing, please subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so that you receive notifications of all our videos. When you subscribe, that helps to support the channel and means that we can keep making these videos and get the information and support out to more teachers. If your consequences are going to be effective, they must be fair and respectful. So what does that look like? Well, first of all, consequences need to be relevant. Relate consequences to the behaviour. For example, if a student displays inappropriate behaviour in maths, it doesn't make sense that they then miss out on sport. They need to learn how to behave in maths. So investigate the reasons why maths is a problem. Is it the time of day? Is it the expectation for work? Is it the student cohort? Teach and reinforce the appropriate behaviour in the context of which it occurs. Look at the function of the student's behaviour. What is the student trying to gain or trying to avoid through their behaviour? Secondly, consequences need to be known. Students must be aware of the consequences of their behaviour in advance. There are no surprises. As one of my colleagues says, consequences should be boringly inevitable. Students know that if they don't complete their work in class, then they'll have to complete it for homework or make up time during a break. They know that if they waste time in class, the teacher will speak to them privately about their behaviour. Keep any consequences short and to the point. As soon as possible, give the student the chance to have another go at doing the right thing and get back to the learning. And if you're interested in how to create a safe learning environment for you and your students, check out our video about the #1 behaviour management tool. Consequences must be consistent. Now, this doesn't mean that the consequence is the same for every student. Fair does not necessarily mean the same. What it does mean is that your approach is consistently proactive, caring and supportive, and takes into account the student's background and needs. It also means that you will listen to their side of the story, that you will maintain the dignity of the student, that you will start fresh every day or every session with them, and that you maintain high expectations and a high level of support and nurturing. Some teachers think that consistency means having the same consequence for all students, but just as every student's learning needs are different, So every student's behaviour learning needs are different. While one student may respond to a look to get back onto task, another student may need to take time out to calm themselves before getting back to work. Consistency really means that students know that there will be a follow-up and that they will learn through certainty rather than severity, as Bill Rogers says. If you're interested in how you can learn to be more consistent in your practice, check out our video on teacher consistency, where you'll learn what it means to be consistent and how you can use consistency to create more predictable and safe learning environment for you and your students. Consequences must be supportive. This means that teachers have high expectations for their students and they provide high levels of support for students to live up to those expectations. Support could be in the form of a reward system, an agreed cue between the teacher and the student, or small group instruction about appropriate behaviour. It could also mean working with the parents so that the student is getting the same message at home and at school. Remember, consequences are not about punishing a student, but about teaching them more appropriate ways to have their needs met. All consequences need to be respectful. Respectful consequences are private and maintain the dignity of the student and the teacher. Some students hate being singled out, even for praise, so be mindful of how students feel. Keep students behind after class for a brief chat or talk to them in the breaks. A student I heard about recently doesn't even like having corridor conferences because he feels like he's being singled out in front of the whole class. So you need to think about how they feel in doing that. Students are more likely to be receptive to discussing their behaviour without an audience of their peers, especially when they know that you'll listen to them. Maintaining positive relationships is vital. So humiliation and belittling of students is totally unacceptable. Allow students to save face by having private conversation, and you will maintain your own dignity, prevent further escalation and development of secondary behaviours. If you're feeling angry, it may not be the best time to discuss a behaviour with a student. You can model appropriate ways to deal with your anger by saying, "I'm feeling very angry right now. I'm going to discuss this in a couple of minutes when I'm feeling calmer." Respectful consequences need to be a learning opportunity for the students. Problem behaviour is an opportunity for the student to learn about their environment and for us to learn about the student. When we decide on relevant consequences, we need to consider what the student will learn from them. They may have learned that they get more attention from the teacher when they're off task than when they're on task. And in that case, you need to give more attention to on-task behaviour through a reward system or praise or non-verbal responses, and minimal attention to off-task behaviour. So a quick reminder, an agreed secret cue, or a reminder of the reward. When consequences are fair and respectful, there's more likelihood that students will learn better ways to meet their needs. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and happy teaching.